Okay, please mute yourselves. And then when it's time to share, then you can unmute. But for now, everybody please mute yourselves. Thank you. Okay. And just taking a deep breath. We always start with a deep breath. Life. Gratitude for being in this body. For having the opportunity to be part of the most amazing experiment in our solar system. Can spirit anchor in matter? Can life force move through matter? With consent. So gratitude for saying yes at some point. Your soul said yes to being alive during this time. So whether you remember it or acknowledge it or not, it's true because you're here. And connecting to your intention for yourself. We all have intentions that might be playing out on a smaller scale or on a bigger scale in our lives. So we have our own will. So what is my intention for myself? For this 1 hour connection together. Remembering that energy follows intention, so being specific with the universe. Okay, and trusting that that's going to keep working in the background as we go through our journey together. One of the things that's been coming through from DK through Bruce recently has been that we're moving towards a soul initiation as a collective, as a humanity over the next 50 years. And that means that's that yes that we just spoke about, that you've been here, you're here for a reason. So taking a moment and reflecting for yourself, maybe it supports you to close your eyes, it's up to you, connecting to your heart. Have I, as a soul, really said yes to being here? Which means I am fully landed here in the material plane, in this body, which I've chosen. Just connecting to whatever that truth is for you. Have I said yes? Have I fully arrived and landed here? And most likely the answer is no. Not fully. Maybe it is a yes. But just noticing, in what ways have I not? In what ways have I as a soul not embraced this human experience in the material plane? And so there's no shaming or blaming or going into victim or accusing or anything like that. It's normal that given our history over the past millennia, 10,000 or so, our evolution, that there is a fear of fully being here as a soul. So just recognizing this amazing time, crossroads that we're facing, that you as an individual soul is facing, and that we as a collective are facing. That for millennia we've been working up to. To fully embody our existence. Now connecting to the concept, your concept of nature. Is it something out there? Or is it me? Now there are aspects of nature that I don't feel safe or with. Go there in particular. Go there with your heart and with raw, brutal honesty. Recognizing for yourself that this is where you separate. I versus them, it, nature. Zero in, focusing what aspects of nature, of this earthly existence. And it might be also not about physical nature, it might be emotions, for example. But it might be about physical nature, like the forest or whatever. What aspect in particular brings me fear? It triggers the fear instinct in me. I'm going to work with that. So connecting to your base. And if it helps you, you can place your hand over your perineum, your sitting area, or your whole hip area, just feeling it as you're sitting. It's up to you. And there is millennia of conditioning here, of survival, of me, of I will survive. And the invitation now for soul to fully land, individually and collectively, is to shift from I will survive to we will survive. So connecting in the base, all the different survival strategies you've got going on in your life right now. What's active? And in particular, the ways it comes out is shadow. Maybe that you'll earn some money and somebody else won't, or that you'll stay healthy and somebody else won't. Whether you'll, excuse my reference, but get the last roll of toilet paper and somebody else won't. Go to order your I will survive. Below all the conditioning of politeness and civilized, sugar-coated whatevers. I will survive. And feel it. Feel the power of that. Feel what happens in your body, the physical sensations. Own it. Yes. This is also me. Because if we don't own this, not ready to claim it, then it will come out in all the shadow ways. In this next decade, we will see plenty of it. So let's own it now. One more minute for this stage. Brutally honest with yourself. Manipulations, lies, thoughts. From this place, it's only survival of the fittest. From this place, it's not a loving, supportive place, world, earth, where everyone can thrive. There's evil. There's scarcity. Okay. Now allowing your base, your perineum, your anus, your genitals to open up, literally like a flower that opens. And this time we request, we ask for, we don't just give our consent, we are asking for life force energy to support us from the earth to move what we can't move. This was hidden under all the niceties that will kick in. So if it helps you to spiral, go ahead. It's a surrender. For that surrendering, I need to trust in nature. Can I trust in nature? That this form might go just like the flowers after spring go, just like the harvest after fall goes. This form may go, but life remains. Can I surrender to the earth? And if the answer is no, stay with that. If you cannot open and ask, I'm not a passive passenger. I'm asking. And if I can't ask, it's because I don't trust. And that's okay. There's no shame, but stay with that. If there's any resistance, noticing how you feel different than that tiger or that volcano or that mountain range or that flower or that leaf or that whatever aspect of nature. If there's no resistance, surrender like a seed. Just let yourself fall into the soil. I'm a seed, and I'm offering myself into this fertile soil that is earth. Fill me with life and make of me what I'm meant to be. Every seed's will. We are all seeds. Feel that surrendering deeply. The most loving act this form, this seed can make is to surrender to that which breathes it, that which beats its heart, and to remember itself and flow with all there is in form and matter. No longer separate. This world isn't against me. So how does this life force want to move me? What does it want to make of this seed? How will this seed sprout or flower, blossom? Allow your body to take the different forms and shapes, gestures, sounds that makes up life in this human experience. See if you can feel the ecstaticness, the aliveness, the eros of life itself. Surrender to that more and more. I'm not penetrating it or making it happen. I'm just opening and maybe even dissolving into it like mush. Letting the seed be cracked open by life. And if there's pain and if you're confronting certain shadows or certain resistance, stay with it and ask, evoke life to support you if that's a yes for you. I do not own this form. It is a gift, a momentary gift. 2 more minutes. Being penetrated and filled. Like the sap fills the trunk of a tree. From this place of having evoked life and surrendering to the earth, coming back into connection with this form as part of all forms. It's just in this cycle of recycling, ashes to ashes, dirt to dirt, and then coming back into some other form. From this place, what really matters? If you have an answer that's coming from a little I place, go deeper. Let life in deeper. What really matters? Let the wisdom of life show you. And if there's any resistance to whatever the answer is, meaning you want to hold on to things that don't matter based on that answer, can I trust enough in life to surrender it? Again, this is the test over the next 10 years. So looking if there's any resistance. Oh no, but this job thing also matters, or this relationship also matters, or this whatever thing matters. Emptying. Empty, because life cannot fill a full cup. Empty of what doesn't really matter. Surrendering it into that fertile soil. 2 more minutes for this stage. Empty. What doesn't really matter. Empty. Letting it go. Not theoretically. Let it go. Ask for life to support you if you need it. If you're finding challenge here. Trusting in life. Last minute to surrender whatever doesn't really matter. To be recycled. And feeling the emptiness of self. And surrender. And now calling in soul. Demanding, calling in your soul and letting it know, yes, there is space now here in this base. There is trust and there is space for you to land. Take root all the way down here in the densest, darkest matter of this form. Can I fully land? Can I? Am I willing? And will I stay? Not a popping visit. Here to stay. The soul that you are needs a form to move through, shine through, live through, express its mission through, its purpose. As this form, supported by life, remembering that you are life force itself, earth itself. Now it's safe enough for a soul to land. What does that look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? Allow it. Note these physical sensations. This is what it feels like, and evoke it. I can evoke it when I can just connect to these physical sensations and this sense of being, this energy flow. Mark it for yourself. What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? And move through your life, move in your relationships, walk through your job or your whatever it is that you do with your time. From this place, what matters? Another minute. Connecting to your heart center. And connecting to the Shamballa energy that flows through the center of the universe, through all living matter, through everything in the cosmos, and demanding to be put in your place. First ray energy, put me in my place. Where? Where is my place? What? What should I be doing? Who? With whom? And let it be like a stream, just through your heart center. Your only prayer and wish, put me in my place. And recognizing there's only one of us here. Only one of us here. And opening your eyes and looking at all the other screens. There is only one of us here. There is only one of us. I versus we. Survive is no longer an option. There is only one of us. What happens to the access you have to love, the access you have to form as this one expression of life? When you remember there is only one of us. Closing your eyes again, and from this place, there is no separation between me and the trees and the volcanoes and the flowers and the deserts and the oceans and the whales and whatever else nature has created. There is only one of us here, and it is empty of the so-called I or me. And yet it is filled with life. How could this nature, how could this planet, how could this earth, how could this human existence be anything but safe, loving, and supportive? There's one of us. Connecting to your intention, whatever the intention you started off with was. There's only one of us here. Taking some deep breaths. If you feel to stay connected to this for some time longer, that's totally fine. It's the end of the guided journey. Certainly not the end of the connection to this truth. Spirit and matter. The most exciting experiment in our solar system. And the space is open. If there's any sharings, any reflections, you can just unmute yourself and then mute yourself back. Mm-hmm. And if anybody does end up speaking, when they speak, remember there is one of us here, everybody else who's listening.
I feel I feel really moved because somehow this connects really well with the interview we just did, and what happened during that. And like right now, it's like two pieces has come together. I had to like get up and write something down because I had such an intense download, and like something just made poof and yeah, like a piece of me has come to rest, like fully resting in my being, and there's deep clarity, yeah, in a not knowing way, not like clarity in the mind, more like spaciousness, emptiness. Thank you.
Hi. Yeah, I had to resonate with what you shared now, Celeste, because for me it was also this fullness and emptiness and this clarity and not knowing, and oh, so beautiful and like energized and not. It's really this deep comfort and excitement of the paradoxes, and it's so beautiful. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, me, for sharing. And yes, this is the part of the transmission of life force through matter, through the emptiness of matter, where none of these details and forms and things matter. And you would say, but how can that not matter to matter? And yeah, because it's just continuously recycles. How could matter be attached to form? And there's just this emptiness and spaciousness to be filled by life. Yeah.
Yeah, hearing you say that, I just remember what came when you invited us to reflect on that question, what matters, and just the felt answer was the dance. What matters is the dance, the ever changing, ever mutating dance, and being danced by it. and just seeing, she saw my body walking in the desert and being dried up because there was no water and fusing, like even the death of was just my body fusing with the desert. And it was just so beautiful, surrendering to death. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so this was part of my intention, is to support you to get closer to death without having to name it or do it, the more direct way, but it's through the surrender, the more, let's say, feminine way. Yeah, I mean, the seed isn't saying, no, I don't want to germinate, I don't want to sprout. Don't take this form away from me. Like, so the same thing. We have a few more minutes if anybody else.
Yeah, I would like to share. That's very interesting because I fell like into the darkness, and then I surrendered, and all of a sudden I started burning, and I started falling faster and faster and faster and faster, and I started burning more, and I was like, okay, let's just keep burning. just keep burning. And that was all. I didn't, my body was like not vanishing. I was just burning the whole fucking time. That was interesting. Yeah.
So this is what he said about the Shambhala force, which is what's coming into activation, whether we give our consent or not, in our conscious mind, we have as a humanity, as a collective. And so it's coming through more and more. The difference is when we give our consent, it's not destructive in the way of, because there's no resistance. There will still maybe be pain, there will still maybe be suffering, there will still maybe be angst or this kind of thing, but it will be with less resistance and less destructive. But the burning of what needs to be burned, is the way they say, burning of the dross, will remain. And that is the gift. What I cannot do, or I don't know how, or whatever life force can do for me, and it's coming in. And so, yeah, give my consent, say yes, and then less resistance, more surrender, and more burning of whatever does not need to be there. And the burning of the life force itself is what replaces that, whatever it's filled with before that. Hey, anyone else?
I notice I keep consent with from my heart and from my spirit, but there's still at the same time there's like a really strong no from this body that it doesn't want to die. And it comes to the when I surrender deep enough, it comes to the, do I surrender that I let this body go? Even if it doesn't need to go, but there's this there's comes the question that, do I let go of this body?
Right. So it's a very good point, and I can speak to it from a matter perspective. So if it's the soul that's deciding, do I let this body go? Yeah, this body's gonna have some resistance. Bye. Thank you. If it's from the soul, yeah, there will be some like, well, fuck you. Who are you to say whether I go or not? Like, who made you master? Because they are polarities of the same axis, not one overriding the other. But when it's matter itself, when it's this body itself, sure, there will be a survival kind of like thing, but it's more primal as opposed like it's a dignity. That's the best word I have for it. It's a dignity of this form, of this animal body, versus a resistance or versus a fear. Because it knows the deal. It knows it's aging. It knows it's finite. There's no illusions around that. None. The illusions are in the mind. How could it not know that? Of course, we've disconnected from that with our minds, but that doesn't mean our body has disconnected from it. And so the dignity that comes with, well, hell yeah, I offer myself back to where I come from. I am made of soil and stardust. I am made of all these elements plus stardust. That's what I am. Every 7 years, you have a full new body. All your cells are replaced. There is no resistance from matter. It's continuously transforming, aging, replenishing, dying. Something else is birthed, some new wrinkle, or some sunspot, or whatever. That's what matter does. And it knows it. It's going through that continuously. It's our minds that say, oh, there's resistance, or it's when it's coming as a directive, as a order kind of thing from soul that like, okay, now you have to sacrifice yourself. Like, okay, that's part of the deal now. Death, go. And it's going like, well, fuck you. But left to its own accord, it does what it's continuously doing. Death, purification, or surrender, purification, rebirth. It is the continuous cycle of life that is alive in your cells, organs, muscles, bones, tissues, from the minute that you start forming in the womb until your last breath. That's the only cycle your body knows. So from matter, I can say that no, there's no problem with surrendering. The surrendering already happened with the first breath, or with the sperm egg meeting. That surrender happened. But there is a dignity. Yes. Yes. Okay, anyone else? Going once? Going twice?
Okay, I want to share. Although it's a bit difficult because the feeling just in the end was just like the whole universe was just like pouring through me. So it's, yeah, just everything. I was the universe. I am the universe. So it was deep. Thank you.
You're welcome. So my wish for you from this journey, and what I wish that you're able to connect with as your days unfold, many days, not just today, is what really matters. And what is my place? To be put in your place, not by what my mind says so, but to be really put in your place. And to reconnect with yourself as one with matter, as one with nature, not something to be afraid of or disconnect from or separate from. And of course, there's only one of us here having this wonderful experiment. Will it work this time? Let's see. We're throwing the dice again. Keep betting on these human things. Let's see. Thank you all for joining. Okay.